Jack Mallers just went on live TV and said that he sees Bitcoin exploding 200x from where we are today to become a $400 trillion asset. Is he insane? We're breaking it down and you're not gonna believe this. Jerome Powell has officially cut rates. But hold on. Hold on! On the same day, a golden statue of Trump holding a Bitcoin is erected. Erected? Anyway, Trump didn't care. He's still pissed off. He wants more. And it looks like the Fed is gonna give it to him. We have absolutely massive and bullish news to get to today. Are they planning a monetary reset? Better strap in, because it also looks like Giga Chad just sounded off on the op return and core versus knots debate, and you don't want to miss it. Without further ado,
You see the price of Bitcoin heading?
Higher.
How much higher?
A lot higher. My general framework from the highest level is human beings collectively, we own about $900 trillion worth of stuff. That's equities, the things behind us, real estate, precious metals, fine art, all of the things that we own. Half of that we're using as a savings account. We're owning the portfolio of companies or the art or the house to actually try and persist wealth into the future. I think Bitcoin's going after that market. It's going after a market of $400 to $500 trillion worth, and right now it's $2.5 trillion. So I think in purchasing power terms, Bitcoin can go up 100 to 200 times more from here.
All right, so we know Bitcoin obviously is the most
feast your eyes upon the most bullish chart known to man. The fiat overlords tremble just at the sight of it. Mallers isn't playing around, and he may very well be right. And it feels like signals are being sent from all over the place that something massive is coming. From 2 trillion to 400 trillion, can you imagine? And that's Bitcoin. Bitcoin's awesome, but Bitcoin treasuries, And here's Jack Mallers on 21 Capital.
But I want to dive in to 21 today. So just for our audience, let's start by level setting here. Give us a brief introduction to 21.
Yeah, 21, we are taking the company public with a SPAC with Cantor Equity Partners. We currently have the third largest corporate Bitcoin position in the world in escrow, assuming a successful merger. And it was founded by Tether and myself with a minority but significant stake taken by SoftBank. So we want to be the best way to participate in this Bitcoin phenomenon in the capital markets. We plan to implement and run what people call a Bitcoin treasury business. But I think one of the biggest differentiators at 21 is we don't necessarily consider ourselves a Bitcoin treasury company holistically. Our founding group and our board consists of people that have built and currently run very successful, cash flow positive, high margin businesses in the space. We think there's a lot of opportunity to not only grow Bitcoin per share and raise accretive capital and acquire Bitcoin on our balance sheet, but build Bitcoin software, build Bitcoin cash flow, and change the world with the technology itself. So we are a pure play Bitcoin business. Everything about us stems from the white paper and OGs, as they say, that are now bringing Bitcoin to the capital markets in what we think is an attractive fashion. So that's who we are. We have let the markets know that we have submitted our S4 to the SEC. So we're currently in our quiet period pending approval. But it's an exciting time for us and the wider industry at whole, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Well, if it sounded like marketing buzzwords, that's because it is. Old Predator here read the 21 pitch deck, and apparently nothing in that PowerPoint signals that it's much different than all the rest. They're just different wrappers. Look, all I'm saying is there is Bitcoin, and then there are Bitcoin treasuries. Ooh. Not looking good. As Cena puts it, once the hype is over, you need to show a real cash flow generating business, which is nowhere to be found. All right, now let's get to the signal pointing towards a race to devalue the dollar relative to Bitcoin. Uncle Jerome just cut rates 25 bips. First one of 2025. And Wall Street's acting like it's Christmas morning. Trump still mad, threatened to fire Jerome. Bitcoin didn't moonshot yet. It's just grinding up, holding that 117K range. Translation: it seems like deep pockets are sitting on their hands waiting to see what Powell will cough up next, because the cut itself already priced in. The real juice is in the dot plot. Futures thought maybe we'd get 4 cuts by the end of next year. Powell's little Excel chart says 2 more cuts this year, dropping rates toward 3.5 to 3.75. That's dovish, baby. That's rocket fuel. It's not the cut itself, it's the path implied by the dots. And you know what that means? These dots appear to be pointing straight to the banana zone. And let's talk seasonality. October is Bitcoin's month. 12 out of 16 Octobers have been green, most of them double digits. That's kind of like betting on Alabama football in the SEC when they had Nick Saban and Derrick Henry. GFY, the odds are in your favor. So yeah, Powell tried to cool the tape with this little inflation caution speech, but the charts don't lie. Bitcoin's been stacking higher highs all September. Open interest steady. The long squeeze could be just waiting to rip some faces off. Bottom line, the Fed may have just lit the fuse, and if history rhymes, October isn't spooky season. It's breakout season. Bitcoin all-time highs are back on the table. And so is this.
Well, and I'm sure you saw that Russian minister that essentially commented on this.
Поменять правила на рынке золота и криптовалют. Вспомните, какой у них долг. 35 триллионов долларов.
And so it seems like the BRICS nations are actually catching on and thinking that this is our strategy.
Well, I think that's exactly the strategy, and I think he's right. Look, I think it's a kind of a naive statement on his part. Like, Putin was talking about how we were going to eventually have to devalue our debt in 2016, right? Mm-hmm. I've got the receipts. You can see it on his commentary. So they've known this was how it was going to go, and that's before the last 9 years of nonsense that has transpired in terms of our debt with COVID and all this stuff. And so, I think they've known that. And I look at things like the CEO of Tether, right? Paulo Ardoino said last week, we're buying gold, Bitcoin, and land because of the hedges against coming dark times. Like,
yeah,
the math tells you this, like, this is how it's going to go. Like, the only mystery is like when, and then sort of tactically, right? It's like, well, how actually are they going to do it? What are the events that are actually going to trigger it? I think that's what they're going to try. And by the way, I think it's really good for the world. It's really good for the U.S. It's not really good if you own a lot of bonds, but like, that's been in the cake. So, if we want to restructure, reshore, rebalance, if we want to separate from China strategically, like, that can't happen unless something devalues treasury bonds relative to gold and Bitcoin to like zero.
We are approaching a reset. Just what kind of future is ahead of us? I kind of share nearly the same view. We got Terminator, Mandibles, or the bright orange future, all of which are bullish for Bitcoin. But only one is bullish on humanity. In order to attain a Bitcoin standard and a bright orange future, and to give yourself the best shot in the other two possible scenarios, self-custody is essential in protecting the thing, your Bitcoin. Now, I've got about a 2-minute clip from Giga Chad. You're gonna want to see it. Saylor has broken his silence on op return, and he definitely addressed it with surgical precision. But before we bring it home today, look at our likes!
3 or 4 times, maybe.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a pamp while we take a moment to recognize our sponsors powering this show over at the Bitcoin Way. If your wealth lives in their system, it's not yours, it's theirs. That's why we scream Bitcoin. That's why you self-custody. And that's why you call our friends over at the Bitcoin Way. They'll walk you through multi-sig, self-custody, privacy, how to run a node, and the tools that keep you sovereign when the fiat system pulls the plug. Don't wait until it's too late. Book a free 30-minute consultation today using that link in the show notes. Need cash but don't want to sell your Bitcoin? Ledn is the global leader in Bitcoin-backed loans, issuing over $9 billion in loans since 2018, and they were the first to offer proof of reserves. With Ledn, you get custody loans, no credit checks, no monthly payments, and more. Visit learn.ledn.io/simply to learn more and get 25 basis points off your first loan. All right, now, shut.
And so I think protocol proposals, however well-intentioned, can go horribly wrong. And I think that this debate we see right now over op return limits, this is actually a second order or maybe even a third order change. It's not changing the amount of Bitcoin, which of course is an atomic zero order change. It's not changing the block size, which is a first order change. It's somewhere in the second and a half to third order. But the reaction of the community, which is, to reject it, an inflammatory reaction, I thought was a healthy response. It's healthy to be skeptical of a third order change to the protocol, right? Because it might become a second order change, and and if it's a first order change, it puts everything at risk. And the biggest danger is a very talented, well-funded, well-intentioned developer trying to do something good. That's the danger, right? And that is fundamentally the issue, which is a very competent, well-funded, well-intentioned developer that wants to upgrade the protocol. That is the risk. The risk is, I've said this tongue-in-cheek before in my long business career, I don't regret my bad ideas because no one's stupid enough to pursue their bad ideas. I regret all of the good ideas that I pursued to the detriment of my great idea. Like, it's the good ideas that actually dilute the product, dilute the brand, dilute the network, and destroy the company. The good ideas will destroy the company. The good idea for Bitcoin will destroy Bitcoin. If I wanted to destroy Bitcoin, I would just fund infinite developers who are very talented and tell them to make it better.
Don't with Bitcoin. Guys, don't lose focus. If Mahler's is right, a 200x could be in Bitcoin's future. And if Luke Gromen is right, the race to devalue the debt and send gold and Bitcoin ballistic is also on the table. The cuts have begun, and Uptober is just around the corner. And again, if all these guys are right, pretty much Mahler's pretty much in line with Saylor's future projections. Well, that also means dollar sat parity is also on the table. Check it out.
As Bitcoin becomes the new world reserve asset, the price will go up. It'll go to 1 million, it'll go to 10, and then it'll reach dollar sat parity. And probably before that happens, we hit a terminus point where, you stop pricing things in dollars because it doesn't make sense anymore. And there's tons of historical examples of this, right? Like, fast failure of fiat currencies is the norm. It's not the exception. Look at the German mark, right? That's fast fail. Every fiat currency fast fails. It doesn't fail over 50 to 100 years. Except for maybe the dollar. It's failed over 100 years, but it's coming to a close. But as it increases in value, then of course you see less volatility because it takes more to make a dent. If you go back to, I think last year, right, the Saxony government in Germany, they dumped 50,000. And that made a bigger impact than the 80,000. So you can already see in a very short time frame a far more muted effect of coins being dropped.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Even Voltaire knew in 1729. And maybe, just maybe, that's why this dumb statue was dumped off or erected. I'm sorry. Either way, is it a ripoff or a symbol of what's to come? Let us know below and grab those tickets to Mining Disrupt 2025. See the future of Bitcoin mining up close in Dallas, Texas, November 11th through the 13th. See the biggest names in the industry, cutting-edge rigs, Bitcoin, and AI integration. The signal you won't get anywhere else. Grab your tickets today and use promo code SimplyBitcoin for 20% off. And we'll see you at the news desk. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a pamp and set those notifications for the best in Bitcoin news delivered to you daily. Oh yeah, and Sophie, Dante, Oceans, they all have bangers coming your way, so stay tuned and I'll catch you all next time. Love you guys. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, you.